Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. The Summit 2 Europe by G2A.com continues right now. It's time for the Balkan Bears Corleone, our team BBC, Weehaus team, for those who are familiar with this pub play in the European scene, facing off against Alliance. Neither team off to a great start here in the Summit 2. Alliance 0-2. Granted, had some tough opponents, but dropped well, actually, no, not really tough opponents, although I think teams that are fully capable of the upset. A bit underrated, but they've dropped matches so far to Compass Gaming as well as Power Rangers, still searching for that first win. Once again, we'll have their stand-in here. This time it's going to be the Ape Mother. And as for BBC, pretty much out of contention for the playoffs. They're 1-5, but a team that can still play the role of the spoiler. Anyway, with all that out of the way, I'm LD, and I am joined here by Merlini. Not in the studio, because we only got this cast in last minute, but we'll be up there for the next few games. Hey, Ben, how you doing?
Hey, LD, how's it going?
How's your side of the house?
It's all right. It's all right. I watched BBC last game, and unfortunately, it was not pretty.
Okay. Well, 2 bans for each team so far. Let's see. Nothing too unusual. The Bulldog Prophet getting banned. Actually, they haven't really been picking it much. I'm never surprised to see this ban, but it's definitely not been on Alliance's radar much as of late.
Well, they never get it on any land, so it's probably good that they practice other heroes.
Yeah, certainly the case. And we'll see the Slark banned out. A natural way to deal with this Bat Rider more than anything. Can also beat him pretty handily 1v1 if you play it right. We see that quite a few times. And BBC will actually remove a Timber Saw. He's been kind of stock rising lately. This is an offlaner, sometimes even a mid. We've seen that teams have picked to counter Naga in the lane. And just very difficult to deal with. And with that Eggs upgrade, he offers you a lot more punch in team fights.
Yeah, he used to be really popular, and then he got like slightly nerfed, and then everyone's like, screw that hero, I don't want to ever pick him again. And then people realize like, hey, wait, he's still pretty strong, especially versus a very little disable lineup, such as BBC's right now. And pure damage really good versus the heavy physical and magic mitigation by Brew and Viper.
Yeah, and well, Alliance had already picked up one of the heroes that would probably deal with him best in the Scarth Mage, so at that point, you don't have too many easy ways to punish it. Well, where does Alliance go from here? They've pretty much done the same thing every game, which is some sort of 4 Protect 1 strategy, load on like a Terrorblade, Naga, Anti-Mage, one of these types of heroes. Do they change things up? We saw Cloud9 try to change things up. It was kind of a disaster for them in that particular game. I would think they'd certainly agree with that sentiment, but, well, or do Alliance just stick to their guns and say, the issue is execution? It's not the picks, it's just the way we're playing them.
Well, I would probably say it's a little bit more of execution, but still, even if it were execution, they still need more strategies up their sleeve. And the teams that get the farthest in the recent lands have generally the most versatility and flexibility. And even with this most recent patch, 4 Protected 1 has been a little bit stronger, but that doesn't mean that you should run it every single game.
Yeah, it does seem in general like you can get away with those greedier carries in this patch, or at least running multiple cores, if not necessarily a hard carry. I think it was Black who said after ESO1 that he thinks the best strategy this patch is picking 1 hard carry and 2 hero, strong mid-game type heroes. So at least for Vici Gaming, that appears to have worked, whether it's FY just playing a greedier support or actually running a tri-core. The rubber band normally means everybody gets something. Even if it's not quite as much as it was when the patch first dropped. BBC do go for an Ancient Apparition here. So the lanes begin to take shape for them. We've got what looks to be Weeha's Brewmaster mid. Most likely he played it in the last game for them. It didn't work out, but he certainly has the micro to make it work if the situation's right. And they've got their mech builder, potentially in the Viper, the Ancient Apparition. Kind of a mix of heroes. Some pick off, some push, some laning. Presence. Not really any one particular focus, though.
I think the AA pick is really strange here. They don't really need that much more damage, at least not in the lane. Viper's already pretty strong as is. They already heavily lack on disables. Like, how are they going to stop a mag RPing even if they catch him? Or, like, counter initiate a Bat Rider? Most probably would have gone for something else, like a Venge, which has already been banned out. Even a Shadow Demon would be pretty good versus Bat. Um, and they're not really scared about getting pushed into either, which is also where AA is pretty strong. And they also don't have any good gank partners with them too. Generally, you want like a Bat Rider on your side or like a Nyx Assassin, and then you can blow people up from across the map. But neither of these really synergize with what they have. Also, no like global presence with Spectre. Maybe they want to pick that up last though.
Yeah, Spectre's a hero that seems to have fallen off a bit since the patch first dropped. When the patch first came out, I mean, that was when the rubber band was just ridiculous. So you could be down like 20k gold and win 2 fights, and suddenly it's a dead even game. But a hero that was picked a ton when it first dropped, haven't really been seen her too much lately, Ben.
Again, this also doesn't synergize too well with what they have. If you grave someone who gets lassoed, he's still going to die anyways. Unless he's like a Terrorblade and it can send her away, but most of the time he's going to die anyways. He has the Weave, which they don't really have that much physical damage. I guess a little bit with Viper and another Toxin. But he offers a lot of damage, not as much disable. Pretty much same thing as, very similar to AA, rather.
Yeah, PA picked up now, so a
That
hero that
makes a
uses
lot
Chilling
more
Touch
sense.
reasonably well with the attack speed buff from Blink Strike. And does give you some good pick-off potential with the Ice Blast, the slow to help set it up. A lot of slows, in fact, for this team, though light on the stuns, but nobody on Alliance who really takes advantage of that as of yet. It also could be considered potentially a bit of a block pick. PA does use Empower quite well, and it has been a low to hero at times, though normally with the Wisp, which obviously we're not going to see at this point.
Yeah, PA will probably struggle this game due to the heavy amount of magic damage. Prime RP target, and if like Batrider lassos Brewmaster, she still can't go in. She still has to worry about Magnus and Overgrowth and whatnot, and that's barring Alliance's last hero. I generally prefer a PA fifth pick as opposed or fifth pick second pick if as opposed to fifth pick first pick. Because it's not terribly easy to counter, but still she's one of the weaker carries that's commonly picked, I think, and does have some potential to be countered. So looks like 4 protect 1 again for Alliance with the Magnus and Anti-Mage.
Well, they've certainly got a strong 4 to back them up. Good laning presence from the Trian and the Skywrath, lots of zoning potential for them, an instant silence to deal with the Brew, lots of lockdown for him beyond that, the Lasso, the Blink RP, Turtle from the Shockwave, as well as Firefly, split push with the AM to draw this game out. Everything looks good on paper for a 4 protect 1 strat, if they get through the laning stage. And Magnus, while he may not have the easiest time versus Brew, should do okay if that's the matchup. Although, looks like it will be a Padrino Brew, so it may be that BBC mixes things up. Not sure if they're just going to swap. Weehaw was playing it last game. No, looks like it will be a Weehaw PA. And does he actually go mid, or do they even put him in the tri lane?
I don't actually know why they picked Anti-Mage, though. I mean, he is one of the best split pushers and very good with Magnus, but at the same time, he gets rocked by Anti-Mage in a one-on-one matchup. And if they're aiming to look
Or PA,
to end the
mean,
game,
right?
or yeah, PA destroys Anti-Mage. Like the crits, Anti-Mage is low armor, pure damage with Stifling Dagger, just goes right through Spell Shield. So in a straight one-on-one, 35, 40 plus minutes with even farm, PA will just absolutely crap on an Anti-Mage, probably even with Empower and Tree Shield. So
Yeah,
we'll see how that
it
goes.
also potentially forces the AM to get an MKB, which is not always what you want to pick up. And if you want to win a man fight, you probably need a Basher on top of that. So I guess that's where you look to these other heroes to provide the lockdown. RP, Lasso, Treant Protector, Overgrowth. It's pretty good control for PA, to be fair. But in the man fight, definitely will struggle. And, well, for Alliance, they may just look to dodge those fights entirely. Though nobody else split pushes that well, Ben. They have, I guess, Batrider, who can be a bit of a rat, but it's not Bulldog's ultimate rat form by any means. This is like the baby rat, if you will.
I wonder if they're gonna aggro try and just shut down AM. Shut down AM, win the game. If they can shut him down, though. I mean, Tree Armor taken off pretty easily by Poison Touch. If they want to put Viper there, and like Panda top and PA mid, that actually wouldn't be too bad for them either. So BBC has options open for them in terms of how they want to approach Loda's anti-mage.
All right, with that said, folks, we're underway for our second game of European action today for the Summit 2 by G2A.com. I'm LD, he's Merlini, and we can run through the drafts now very quickly. Misery, playing your Tram Protector. Ake on the Skywrath Mage. 8 Mother from Coast Gaming, standing in as the Behold the Horn of Magnus. We've got Loda on the Anti-Mage that does put Bulldog or Reno on the Bat Rider. Headed to the offlane potentially, though we are seeing Loda maybe go for a bit of a lane swap here. Meanwhile, on the dire side, Balkan Bears, Corleone, 1-5 in the Summit 2 Europe. They were one of our qualifier teams, and although they've disappointed in their results, I think their actual in-game performance has been a bit better than what those numbers show. But they are still a developing team, not as experienced in competitive play, and looking for their second win here. Levy on your Dazzle. That puts Solitude onto the Ancient Apparition. Padrino will be playing the PA, so they do a swapperoo in the end. Weeha plays the Brewmaster, maybe trying to fake out Alliance and make them think the PA is actually going mid, since it's generally where we see Weeha, but it's not the case. And Hockey, last but not least, will be playing the Viper safe lane. So, aggressive tri-lane from BBC.
Yeah, you can already tell that they're not completely experienced because they could have taken advantage of the fact that Alliance has really weak lanes and pressures their jungle even earlier, but they were a little slow to buy their items. They were scouted out by Alliance, and now they've already lane swapped with Loda to the top lane. They ideally want to pair this tri lane against Loda because, again, their try on try is going to be pretty much a loss for Alliance unless they execute amazingly.
And meanwhile, Ake is going to keep the pressure up on the mid lane, so they'll make sure that Magnus gets an easy bottle pickup. In doing so, they do leave Bulldog on a bit of an island bottom lane, but Bat Rider not the easiest here to bring down in general. I would say this tri-lane's pretty damn good at killing him, though. 2 ranged heroes with Chilling Touch. There's no cliffs for the Bat Rider to skate over when he's on the safe lane, so Bulldog will have to play this one quite defensively. Although I guess that's not an issue if you're TPing out Solitude. He goes top to assist against Loda, and they run a dual lane on dual lane. 2 melees versus 2 ranged. On paper, should be a heavy win here for BBC, but that's where Ake picks up a regen rune and full bottom pull, free fountain trip for the Skywrath, straight to the top lane now.
Yeah, Loda getting pressure pretty hard. Chilling Touch doing a lot of damage without Spell Shield, and let's see if they can make something happen with Ake.
Well, Solitude's in trouble. If Misery wants to go on him, he's actually going to go for Hockey. And I suppose this will work out because he's skilled another Toxin level 1. It might have died anyway, but this just makes an easier kill. He even blows the salve. They're still chasing for Solitude. 2 more punches. That's a double kill for the tri-lane. Misery on the retreat out. Does have a living armor if need be. Hockey immediately TPing back, but the damage already done. Can they get a trade on Bulldog bottom lane? Not going to happen. Just a level 2 PA. So mid lane already, I wouldn't say won, but made very good for 8 Mother. 9-1, and the Brewmaster for Weehaw will have to be playing catch-up. Top lane now secured. Bottom lane, Bulldog, he's doing fine, Ben. So 2.5 lanes won for sure already.
Very smart and experienced play coming out from Alliance. Even though they have the weaker early game, they're still making BBC react to where their supports go. Firstly, with the tree on top, then the AA comes in, and then Ake comes top and just punishes them for only having 2 heroes up here and no great counter initiate. And that's just really troublesome for BBC because now Anti-Mage is just free to do mostly whatever he wants. He's doubling the Viper's CS at this point, and still BBC has no eyes anywhere on the supports. Sure, they have it on bottom and they block the spawn, but that's not really a big of a problem for Admiral Bulldog. He will just stack the small camp, and the supports will just continue to play hyper aggressively on the top lane.
And speaking of Bulldog, they did ward off 1 camp here, so they prevent the pull through, but it doesn't really do anything to a Bat Rider. He's probably, if anything, just looking to stack this big camp and just do the single pull for now. Or just skip the pulls entirely. They leave him 1v1 against a PA, and now Alliance will rotate off the top lane. They feel Loda's fine. And to be honest,
scouted out.
He is fine.
He's scouted out by the obs, though, and no smoke from them. So now Anti-Mage will be pressured a little bit, and we should sense this coming.
Yeah, they'll walk back top, but it is right by that Dire Observer Ward. And it's now spotted out in the river. Loda will take a bit of extra harassment, uses that Tango, but Ring of Health nearly picked up, and that's the big one, is they do find a kill bottom lane. Not sure if you caught that. I was not watching.
I did not either.
Phil.
Looks like Bat Rider was just trying to play, or use Firefly to get some more creeps. Got caught out.
Sounds like a likely story.
Well, they had eyes though, so I don't believe the Dazzle smoked down there. He doesn't have an inventory slot for it, so
They
I
do
mean,
have a good chasing dual lane with the poison touch and the dagger. Look to go in hockey now. They get off the slow, but they don't have the backup from the anti-mage. Can they really get this kill without him? No, it doesn't look like it. Misery almost caught in the cold feet. If that procs, they might just turn this for a kill the other way. But barely able to get out of range of that. And we'll have a bit of a rune attempt here from the mag, but unfortunately for 8-Mother, BVC do strike first in both runes now. Weehaw going in for the clap. Will crit him, and he begins to tank tower shots as well. There is the skewer ready if needed. Maybe forced to pop it. Weehaw trying to at least force it out, but can't quite stay at range long enough to do it.
Lovely's doing a very good job of trying to prevent Admiral Bulldog from just getting too much out of the jungle. First blocking the camps and getting the kill on him, trying to harass him with his DD, and Admiral Bulldog has to be very, very scared venturing into his forest alone.
Nuke onto hockey. Just harassment for the tri-lane, but it's a free farm anti-mage. A Magnus who's winning a mid lane against a Brew, and you do have a single death on your bat, but we all know Batrider's a solid comeback hero, and Bulldog at this point should pretty much know that camp's block. Is he going to block his big camp? Looks like he'll just get out of range. Flap, flap, flap. Quickly, Bulldog.
I wonder what the PA is going to go for this game. I think Battle Fury's way too greedy for a normal build. Oh, hockey on top.
They'll blink in. Now they got the concussive shot off to start. The nuke damage to follow. Loda nearly dropping to the tower. He will go down. A pretty terrible trade, to be honest, with the way he's free farming. That's a lot of experience going to your Ancient Apparition. Suddenly level 4.
Yeah, I don't think they actually had mana for living armor. I'm not sure if it would save him since he has corrosive skin on him, but yeah, that is a pretty costly dive.
We have thinking about a clap here mid lane, and does have the split ready to go. 8-Mother, also with the skewer, RP available, doesn't really have mana for the full combo. And they're going to bring Levy now to do a bit of warding as it's about to hit that 6-minute mark. Or maybe just straight to the bottom lane, we'll see.
So back to PA and her item build. She can go like phase drums. She can also go like a Midas, more greedy build. But you don't really play P or get PA to just win the 40+ minute. You actually get it to win like the 20, like 15 to 30, and then because you're ahead there, you'll win the later game. So we'll see what she does.
I've seen quite a few players not rush the Battle Fury, but get like their first combat. Oh, Levy, this is trouble. He's in too deep now. Takes an RP. Big commitment for the Dazzle. And, well, he still manages to heal himself. Doesn't have Grave even skilled. I think they thought maybe he'd get off a Grave TP. They didn't have Lasso, didn't have Flame Break. As it turns out, he didn't have, but, well, they'll end up getting the kill anyway. So, yeah, I've seen a few players just to go back to the Battle Fury. Not rush it, but get it as like their second or third item and go for a bunch of kills and then farm the Battle Fury from there. Should be okay. Loda no Mana Void yet.
Yeah, I think PA just needs HP this game, so she doesn't die. I think just some form, either Ogre Club or Drums. Aki's actually stuck with the creeps.
Come on, help this man. He'll be able to flap out now as gets a little support from the tree. But the other trees working against Misery here. He should have full control of them. But trees work together. Apparently not. 8-Mother being driven a bit off this mid lane. And Weehaw tries to work his way towards his blink. He is now on top and in farm in the mid lane, 35 CS to 31. He's caught up nicely considering the start. And they are getting free farm on that PA. Padrino, though, has picked up a Bracer. Looks like it will be your phase drums build, most likely, and a very aggressive style of play from him, which it suits the rest of their heroes, that's for sure.
They're just not worried about him at all. They do have a lot of ways to lock him down, as mentioned earlier during the draft.
Yeah, Brown rotating the tree towards the mid lane. 8-Mother chilling in that mid lane. RP will cool down fairly soon. And Loda left again top lane. He'll blink out. Not really able to get off any of those chilling touch auto attacks, but they do pressure him a bit. The thing is that now it's pretty much too late, because he didn't actually rush the Ring of Health. He went for the treads into the Clone Blade, but now he should have it. His bottom lane, Padrino gets critted. It gets clocked. Or clean, anyway, as Padrino will jump in, looking for 8-Mother. Do they go up to the high ground here? No, not going to chase him. Nicely done by the PA. That's some good RNG there.
Alliance doesn't have any eyes on the bottom lane at all. All their efforts are focused on Loda on top and perhaps 8-Mother in mid. Him having the magic stick will actually slow down his blink a couple minutes relative to the Brewmasters.
They try to bring in Bulldog top lane, but it's kind of an awkward time. He lays a Firefly trail during daytime right past the enemy catapult. And I'm wondering if they just try to force a push or something. BBC do not have their blink yet on the Brewmaster. There's also no blink on 8-Mother. So it's kind of a curious time to force the Batrider into fights. And I also do want to point out, Ben, that that aggressive move was used to ward off the big camp here. So Batrider, his own jungle, being punished a bit, though this camp is still fine. Bulldog feeling limited in his options. He's even going to jump in. They saw him here earlier, and now he'll pop out from the tree line. Onto Solitude will go. No easy way to deal with this bad initiation. Just slow and steady work by Hockey, but too slow and not steady enough. Will end up falling. Do they chase for more? Not going to happen. While that's going on, though, Padrino takes the first tower. Bottom lane, not too shabby. Burst Split even thought about here mid. They have an RP. They have a Silence on Skyrite. They could make a go. They just want Weehawk a bit farther. Did they see the Scarth moving in?
I don't believe so. He's actually in a lot of danger right now.
Wrapping around, concussive shot to start, the sounds to follow, RP, will it be used? They don't want to blow it, they won't need to in the end, as Misery. Now Leech Seed Solitude looks to retreat out, Cold Feet, not going to connect. PA, searching for the crits, gets him, and brings the Scarth Mage down to earth. Nice kill there on Padrino. He has not completed the drums, he went back for Nikila. And
I like how he's just moving around after bottom lane fell. Like some players would just, oh, whatever, it's an empty lane, I'm just gonna keep free farming. But TB's top to help the Viper. He sees the Panda in trouble mid, goes there and picks up another kill. So 2-0-1 on him. Very good job of keeping ahead in farm, not necessarily by farming, but by killing.
Yeah, it certainly suits the overall draft for BBC. All these heroes are decent at scaling into late game. Nobody's really amazing outside PA, but they have a very strong mid-game pickoff lineup. With the Blink Dagger on the Brewmaster, the HF or Chenault, they would love to just keep the aggression going. And if PA's got a Battle Fury, she's not going for those ganks. Somebody's got to be there to dish out damage. So, I'm with you. I think, and also, it's just, you don't want to play into Alliance's hands. They love the long ball. They love to take it late game, and their lineup is designed to do exactly that. Like, good luck pushing into a Magnus and Bat with RP. Or, sorry, with double Blink Dagger. That will not be easy. Bat with RP. Jesus, that would be imbo as fuck.
Loda on bottom.
Yeah, they're trying to set up. Padrino's pretty healthy for now. In fact, he's going to run in onto Ake. They have a heal ready for him. Grave is now available, level 2. He's since gone back for that, chasing onto Ake. Padrino finds the kill, brings the bird down, and chases for a bit more. That heal bomb onto Loda. Oh my goodness! 3 heroes fall. BBC, your Balkan Bears, Corleone. Showing Alliance who's boss. They underestimated that heal big time.
They need the ult on Skywrath to kill her. That's really their only big form of magic damage. Burst, rather, maybe Magnus a little bit, but he doesn't have Blink Dagger yet. So once they have the Blink Dagger and or the Mystic Flare on Skywrath, they can take her down very easily. But they also saw the Dazzle, too. They could just straight kill the Dazzle at the start and 2-on-1'd him. Anti-Mage just could have blinked across the PA. They kill him, and then they kill the PA, too. So I don't think that was the best target selection by Alliance there, and they got heavily punished. Also, they didn't know that AA was at
They do
6.
have a lasso. They're going to pop it mid lane now. Weehawk, will he get off his split? Silence, not going to happen. Skewered, pile driven forward, but Magnus will end up getting that kill. Another death for the Brewmaster. He did buy his blink before going down, though, so that's the big one. And now with the lasso on cooldown and the Blink Dagger revealed, they may try to keep this aggression up for Padrino and Levy.
They definitely should with Brewmaster Ult. Brewmaster Ult has not been used yet. He's just been farming for the
Oh,
first
they're
12
waiting
minutes.
for Misery. They've sprung a trap here. Crits are in. They'll RP too. Levy caught in this one. That's the big thing. Now Silence. Can he get off a grave? He's got a stick. Oh, no. Already was used. Not going to be able to get out. Now Padrino will pay. That's 2 heroes down. One of those kills. Actually, both of those kills going to the Magnus. So, fortunately, I suppose, nothing given away to Loda. And A-Mother already has his blink anyway. Still, a big turn there for Alliance. And no trade, really.
Very nice play by 8-Mother. Nice RP and blink. Very timely. And it would have been a good move by BBC had they waited for the Brewmaster to revive, but they're not playing around his ultimate at all. I also saw this from last game. They just didn't really use it.
And Loda will go back to farming the bottom lane now. Let's see, 600 gold. Does he have anything on the courier? Oh, has the Void Stone. So not too terribly far off the Battle Fury, considering that he's had good CS, but he has died 2 times already.
I think since he's been fighting this much, he can opt for the Poor Man's Shield plus a Magic Stick too. Yeah, sure, it's maybe an extra 800, 700, 800 gold too, but if it helps you get a kill, it's worth it.
Lasso on Hockey, Mystic Flare, and another kill for the Batman. That's the beauty of this Blink Dagger on him, and BBC don't really have the best heroes to dodge those incoming ganks. Maybe the Brewmaster can split in time, maybe the Dazzle can be there with the Timely Grave, but they don't really have answers for the Lasso. There's no swap, there's no glimpse, and even then those are not full answers anyway, but the lineup I'd say is particularly vulnerable to these ganks.
And Loda gonna see Levy maybe in a second.
Let's see what happens after that. They get eyes on him, clap to start, and then that looks to be it. They'll chase, but this is not happening.
Anti-Mage is going to be the one farming these camps, and they will have vision on him, but I don't actually know how they plan on killing him. I think it might have been more effective for them to just straight up block the spawn, so they don't have to worry about him farming, and they don't have to be in the area to pressure him. Like, right now they know he's farming, but what does that really do? You know Anti-Mage is going to be farming the jungle anyways. But...
So would you like to see them just try and, like, force a tier 1 mid lane now, or...?
I would say just block these two spawns. Yeah, force the T1 in mid once you get the mech on the Viper, which comes out in about 600 gold, and do Roshan and just keep up the pressure. They have big ultimates, but still, RP, 2-minute cooldown, and BBC, they can just play around PA, who doesn't really have any ultimate cooldown, and again, they need to get mileage out of the Brewmaster ultimate, or he's a dead pick.
So far, it has not been effective, and this would mark 2 games in a row where Weeha, amazing play earlier in our own tournament on his Meepo, on his Invoker, but the Brew, for whatever reason, just hasn't worked out, and they're looking for Hockey again. They've got to have something backing him up. They need this mech online. Hockey already 3 deaths. I don't know if they get this kill. They're TPing to reinforcements. Grave, heal will be ready. This time, Hockey will survive. He actually TP'd out, though. I think they could have turned that if he had stayed. Okay, now joining the fray. Actually, as it turns out, 4 heroes coming in for a line. Skewer on to 2. Really nice job there by 8 Mother. That should be a twofer. They will save their Viper, but I don't even know if it's worth it when you're giving up 2 more kills just to save the guy. They got to be expecting these ganks. This is clearly what Alliance have identified as the weak point. The top lane, and more importantly, the mech that is close to completion but not ready yet. They just keep on punishing it.
Man, Loda got crit by PA and almost died just straight up. He's really weak relative to the PA right now.
Speaking of that, PA, jump onto Misery, doesn't have overgrowth. Padrino gets the crit, gets the kill. I think he was he just still fading there? They don't have
it was still fading.
Protection.
It's 2-second fade time.
Okay, now they're backstabbing here. The Brennan Bulldog Tower about to drop. Brewmaster split still ready. This will go the way. Do they actually finally? No, again, the RP! Mystic Flare on 2, 8 Mother. He is just pounding his chest now. 6-0 and 3.
Yeah, he is playing really well. And on top, too, he had that 2-man skewer. If he doesn't hit that, he probably has to use RP. Oh, Loda almost gets hit by that AE ulti. But yeah, if he had to use RP on top, that would have been a kill on bottom. So very nice use of cooldowns by him. And they're like ignoring the right heroes too. Like whatever Viper's going to get farm, we don't really need to kill him. Now that PA had too much free farm in the early game, they're just limiting her farm, especially since she's an easy kill once they have their big ultimates online. So I like the way that Alliance is playing and playing around Loda. And Loda, yeah, he'll get his Battle Fury.
This is the least impactful Brew I've seen in a while. 0-3 and 0. And to be fair, he was under a bit of pressure on at level 1 from Ake, but he caught up after that. His Blink was still at a good time. It's since then we haven't seen anything. Just been a totally
we really haven't.
Low impact Brew. And Weeha, to me, is a very high impact player, but maybe this just isn't the right hero for him to be.
Well, this is a trap that a lot of the pub stars turn competitive fall into, is just following what's popular too much instead of playing to their own strengths. He's not known as a fantastic Brewmaster player. He's known as a Meepo and other heroes that you mentioned, and they should just incorporate that into a repertoire and force others to play against that as opposed to him trying to fill in, great Brewmaster's shoes.
Yeah, maybe it might have something to do with he's their best micro player, but if it's just not his strength, it's not his strength. That Brew's not that difficult to micro. They'll jump in on 8 Mother to start. Now the Lasso on Padrino to follow, trying to turn this one around. He gets Grave, but the PA, if she's not fighting, will be a big source of damage gone. Padrino considering re-engage. He's going to end up falling. Runs back into range for the Sky at the Mage to finish well. And then the RP! Oh my goodness, he caught them all. That was 3. Monovoid to follow. Not quite enough to finish them off. Finally, they'll get that 3rd kill. And now, do they have any follow-up to turn this one around? 2 dead for the Radiant, 3 for the Dire. But the Viper stands strong, and Loda may fall. Oh, the clap so close to cooling down. Will Weehaw guess it? He will. There was actually a sentry, so it wasn't a guess, but would have been a good one had he. And now the Drunken Haze on 8 Mother, and well, 3 for 4 so far. Don't think they can really kill Weehaw, but I don't think he can kill them either. In fact, he goes back in, trying to finish off 8 Mother. Where's that crit at? Can't get in range for an auto attack. Padrino could have backed there, but he tried to stick around and fight and ended up just giving away an additional kill at the start.
Yeah, very nice initiate by the Brewmaster there. Oh, A ult, is it going to hit? Nope. Not even close to hitting 8 Mother, but finally they get a good Brewmaster ult, and they break even in the fight, which is pretty much a win for them, considering they're a little bit behind. But yeah, this is where the support plays coming in. What are they supposed to do versus Batrider initiate?
Padrino way off on his own. Mystic flared and picked off. And once again, that other fight, Ben, another amazing RP. 7, 0, and 5 for 8 Mother. I think some of these from BBC have largely been gimmies, and that said, the skewers have especially been on point and not guaranteed by any means. And
so, yeah, they really wanted to take this T1 down so they can do Roche, especially with the Vlad's pickup, and they might try and do it again on the back of Brewmaster Ultimate, but if they lose another big fight, and they lose Phantom Assassin like a couple more times like they just did, they just lost her twice in like a couple minutes time, she's going to fall really far behind relative to Anti-Mage. She's actually overtaken her in terms of CS, not in terms of net worth, though.
Yeah, and unfortunately, Loda has finally picked up his Battle Fury, and it's going to be an especially fast-farming Anti-Mage, as he will have Empower on his side, and with all these kills that 8 Mother's gotten, it's a max rank Empower at 20 minutes. You really don't see that very often, but prepare for some super turbo farm on Loda, as you can just see him chewing his way through those dragons, and BBC don't really have the best line to gank an Anti-Mage. Like, look at this draft. Who's going to actually prevent him from blinking away? They have no Hex, they have no Abyssal Blade, they don't have any sort of instant silence or stuns. The Scarus on the enemy team. Loda can pretty much do whatever he wants now.
And with Weeb being at this hill and trying to kill 8 Mother, he reveals the location of their ward too. So that's not terribly great for BBC too, especially if they want to concentrate on Roshan fairly soon. See 3-man smoke looking to blow the trifecta of ultimates on somebody. Hopefully it would be Phantom Assassin from their eyes, but I don't know if they're going to be able to get this one.
Trifecta. That's a great word. Bulldog up to the high ground, and he's fishing for an opening, but he gets critted immediately. Well, no follow-up for this, though. Ancient Personal not going to connect. Bulldog will skate away and retreat. And all the while, well, Loda clearing out the Ancients, now blinking down the other direction. Up to 1,300 gold. I'm interested to see what his progression will be. We've seen him go for an early Vlad's after this Battle Fury before, just to make sure he never has to go base, but he already has living armor to keep him healthy, so he may just opt straight for the Manta.
The pressure has swapped. Initially, it was on Alliance to like kill PA and deal with the Brewmaster and kill the Viper, but they've already pretty much done all 3 of those tasks. And now BBC is like, well, now we really need to limit AM's farm. We really need to take team fights and not get destroyed by RP. And also, they can take Roshan. This is what they should be doing, and right now Alliance is really scared of a smoke gank, but still the pressure is on BBC. They have to get mileage out of the PA before Anti-Mage gets too big with the Empower, and with Padrino dying every single fight almost, it's going to be an uphill battle for that. And I don't really know what their plan is to save him. I guess Aegis is pretty good too, but if he goes in too early, he'll get lassoed. If he doesn't, then they'll just hold on to RP, and Anti-Mage will clean everyone up, so it's not an easy task for her.
Yeah, not to mention, Padrino is not itemized to try and take the site. He's gone for a lot of cheap, cost-effective early to mid-game items. Aquila, drums, even the phase boot's not as effective for the late-game DPS. And on top of that, Ayasha, which is great for... It's still pretty good now. It's great for when he had it, which was like the 17, 16-minute mark. But this is an item that just won't bring nearly as much to the table later on. Loda has gone Vlad's, so he will be constantly at full health and mana.
Middle lane.
They look for the go on Levy. Caught him out with the lasso. Will end up dropping. But
they're shifting towards the late game items, though. As you can see, Viper is going for a Scepter as opposed to something like a Pipe, and they can just push uphill. Dazzle going for a 4 staff to save. Solitude gets picked off through an RP on bottom instead of like, let's say, a Medallion, which would be more early game for PA. So they're making conscious decisions to be like, okay, we need some late game returns because this is not going the way we hoped.
There will be a big fight here at top lane brewing. Bulldog is throwing out a Flame Break. Sending the Scarlet Mage concussive shot. RP was used though, so maybe they just stall this.
They can't fight this.
Nuking Padrino. They don't have a lasso.
They have no lasso, no RP, and they have Aegis on PA. If they fight this, they'll get massacred.
No, they're gonna get the trade though. Loda pushing in the bottom lane. He has some power online, and with that, tower will not be denied. They attempted it, but Loda blink cooling down. We'll be able to blink out to safety. While that was happening, Ake ended up dropping to the PA solo in the top lane.
They were trying to interrupt the TP with him and Bulldog, and then Padrino just stifling dagger and crit him, and then he just died.
Well, series of missed kills by yours truly. I think that's like 3 in a row, man. Got to keep the streak alive. But we got the tower going on, so that's what really counts.
So Loda actually going for a Vlad's instead. It's maybe if they want to do Roche, it's fine, but the way the game is developed, he hasn't really been able to contribute too much to fights. I'd say a Manta Rush probably would have been better, but Vlad's is shoring up their mid game, which BBC is a little bit stronger at this point due to their items.
Yeah, and it feels it's not really that necessary for the sustain because he's already got living armor. And for the most part, they've had the opportunity to use it. Bulldog called out, and bringing Padrino low, not able to finish him off. He almost died, or lost his Aegis there rather, but
they really want this mid tower. This is the prize for getting the kill on Bulldog. And
problem is, it's up to full HP again, and there's a glyph ready. RP
they still have
up in
Aegis.
2.
This is still not a good fight for Alliance. I think they have to give it up. It's just really, really risky. And we see the Manta come out.
They want to fight it. They're moving 8 Mother into position, at least like they do. Maybe he just goes for a deny skewer away or something. Let's see. Still lurking here. No, they'll let it go. They were definitely thinking about it, though. And let's see if that cost them. Is not going to head up the hill. Nobody will be spotted, and Loda's still split pushing. He'll clear out the creeps, and they get a nice aggressive Observer Ward down, but I think this might have been seen by the Radiant. 8 Mother still lurking. Do they go in now? Weehaw! Silenced as he attempted to go in, and then the RP! That caught almost everyone. The skewer does miss on the Viper, but maybe that's better. It just leaves the other 3 heroes caught behind enemy line. The Grave used to keep Levy alive, split out of that overgrowth. Pretty nicely done. Padrino, he found the 1 kill to start, now 2 more to follow. Lasso used on the Fire Panda. Not gonna say Bulldog, an ultra kill for Padrino. Got that last kill with the dagger. And now they'll take the tower too. 4 heroes dead in a matter of seconds. Your anti-mage is breaking high ground. But let's see if BBC can do the same here. They'll push in. They have decent push for now. It's like everything's just coming together for them, Loda. TPing out. In fact, a double buyback used for the Radiant. The tree, and they jump in onto Misery. Padrino, where's that RNG? No crits. He's skewered way back behind enemy lines. The Aegis will pop. He can come back to life now. Can they blink him out to safety? No RP, no overgrowth, not much to do. They'll take the tower down, but do they actually crack the base? They don't have the brew here anymore. Do they commit to this? Tier 3 falling. They'll back off, and that's a great fight recap we got there. 0-0.
They did well with the itemization. I like PA's Manta build instead of like the traditional BKB because BKB, 3 things go through it. RP, Overgrowth, and Lasso. And with Manta, she can actually get out of the root. That's pretty good. She can dodge a lot of the single damage from Anti-Mage, also pretty good. She can do a lot of damage while she's single target disabled. She can also hopefully bait out a lasso from Admiral Bulldog, so it's a very great item that's not typically picked up by PAs, and it also gives her more HP too.
Yeah, now it goes back for the Basher, so they get some proper lockdown to potentially deal with Loda in these fights. He doesn't have any evasion yet. Could be a very potent item for him. Meanwhile, your Brew goes for a BKB. Pretty mandatory versus Skywrath, though. There's enough other lockdown that this may not save him. But it gives him a fighting chance if he can at least prevent that Mystic Flare damage. And with these items, BBC, one big fight away from taking a lane of Rax. But that was also a very disorganized engagement for Alliance. So they're going to look for a more organized one.
They still had a 4-man RP, though. You can't discount that.
That's true. But it was when Loda wasn't there to follow it up. Yeah, they didn't have a cleave, no Mono Void. He was just split pushing top lane. It was another great RP. 7-0-7. Still 8 Mother yet to die this game. Almost a bad thing. If he gives up that bounty, could really punish them.
And here they go.
There will be a Viper Strike on Loda, unable to Manta Dodge, and now forced to blink out. And now they jump in. Brewmaster popping his BKB, going to work here, attempting the split, but there's an RP to disengage. Overgrowth used as well. Monovoid doing good work for Loda. Brings down 2. Brew will now split. PA, slicing and dicing will finish off your tree. And now in the end, it's a Brew split and an RP and a 2-for-1 exchange thus far. Alliance coming out on top there, thanks to a great Monovoid by Loda, and looks like able to retreat successfully.
And they got the A to start off with, too. So that's all really good for them.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, at this point, though, they can't really stop BBC from doing Roshan number 2. And the push with Roshan number 2 is really where things start to get hairy for Alliance. And can they really hold uphill? Maybe a fantastically comboed Magnus RP into Skewer and Power Mana Void beatdown, but it's still asking for a lot from 8 Mother, who's already performing fantastically.
Yeah, he's keeping the spirit of S4 going, I guess you could say, for Alliance so far, as they look for the jump in mid. Weiha's out pretty far. No BK... Oh, he blinks out just in time. They had their lasso ready. They were just waiting for Loda to join them, and now Bulldog gets very aggressive, surging up the hill, and they'll use illusions to try and siege this tower, and Alliance can go for tower trades in general. They're not up against living armor, so any damage they do will be much more permanent. Let's see. I still think Alliance are okay here. They just have to be careful not to lose any fights with BBC near their base.
Admiral Bulldog is also going to have a hard time initiating. He went for a Yules instead of a BKB, and Dazzle, having the Yule Scepter now, can actually counter-initiate when they go on Padrino.
Yeah, that's definitely the case. Is your PA for Padrino does... Oh, actually, Loda pinged out. I think he knows the PA is in the woods now. Just we'll see Hockey walking past the Radiant Observer Ward, but Loda one step ahead of them, heading towards mid, and that's where Bulldog also looks to go. Force staffing out of the south, and we'll find the Dazzle. Yules was used, now the secondary Yules deployed. Ice Blast, not really doing much here. Grave from Levy will keep him alive for now, but there's not much backup. Concussive shot coming in, Shockwave! Again, 8 Mother on point. Even with a fairly simple to use spell in general, he still makes it look nice. Finding the snipe there.
BBC, do they want to defend this tower as 4? Do they want to give up this tower and lose potential rotate control? Now they're in a pretty bad place.
Initiate on illusion. Oh, I think he thought it was real. Now skewered back into the Mystic Flare again. The Monovoid from Loda completely ineffective as Hockey retreats out. Brew managed to get off his split in the end. They couldn't kill him in time. And, well, he tries to fight on for now, but they're just fighting their way through the Brewlings. The Earth Pin held in position. That'll end up falling. They kill Weeha during the split. Not a good sign at all for BBC. This Alliance, to get a dominating streak on Loda, get a whole lot of momentum swinging their way. 8 Mother with all the big plays. 8-0 and 9.
The illusion bait.
The illusion bait, the shockwave snipe, the RPs on 4 heroes, all the Brewlings in previous engagements.
And this is the real prize, denying PA the Roshan. And maybe with an AA ult they can fend this off, so they should be looking to do so, because this is a really big loss if they give it up.
And with fights like that, that's where your PA will start to fall behind. Padrino, no Battle Fury, and even if he had one, still going to struggle to keep up with the Anti-Mage's superior mobility, but certainly without it. If they lose 1 or 2 more fights, Loda's going to be up a full item or 2, and that's with better backup, I would say, as this game goes later.
Yeah, PA was up by like 2,000 gold at like 10 minutes in, then they were dead even, like 25, and now Anti-Mage just pulled ahead by about 3,000. And that's even with the Aegis, and even with slightly more towers on their side.
There's a good aggressive pair of Observer Wards here for BBC. One of them about to wear off, but problem is now they just can't get the lanes really going their way to take advantage, and don't have the best heroes to go for these ganks.
Loda looking for a snipe.
Solitude. This is a Loda solo kill here. Solitude can't TP out because there's a Monovoid ready. He'll try and slow this one down, but Loda blinks forward. Actually blocks his own main hero away from Solitude. And
that was a misplay by him. He could have manted and then blinked in, and then he would have blocked him in there.
Yeah, and now he gets caught. He gets bashed. Loda. Any chance he goes down here? Not enough follow up for that. But they will Drunken Haze 8 Mother is forced to skewer away, doing everything he can to keep Loda alive. Dagger trying to chase him out. They get another first hit bash from Padrino. This man's been on point with those as 8 Mother caught out, forced to RP a retreat. Will it be his first death of the game? They keep him alive with living armor. Loda.
I mean, even there, 8 Mother with a big place. He force staffed it while he was bashed.
Unfortunately, though, actually not that big of a bounty. Only got 800 gold onto the hero that got the kill. Thought it would be more, to be honest. Weehaw retreating out, and BKB to try to keep him alive. Meanwhile, Viper working on Misery. Will Loda engage onto him. No, blinks to the south. The Brewmaster charging in. He's mech'd up, but still doesn't have mana for his ultimate. As they commit, they find 3 kills here, bringing down the Tree, the Scarlet Mage, as well as the Magnus. 8 Mother does keep Loda alive, but without his RP to engage, they really struggle to take these fights. Alliance looking pretty sloppy, to be honest.
Unfortunately, that was a misplay from Loda that led to the whole entire thing. Again, he blinked in, anti-mate or AA just walked out back to his team. If he just mantas, blinks in, blocks him in, and then just kills him, and then blinks out in TPs, they don't have this whole terrible engage to begin with.
Can they even defend now? There's no RP up. They do have a lasso. Anti-mage currently thinking about a creep skip mid lane, but they're going to lose Rax for this. Costly is an understatement.
They're going to lose Roshan too.
Unless Loda... No, Loda won't be able to kill it in time. He's trying to split push bottom lane. Doing what he can to slow this game down. He's now picked up his Eagle's Horn and... Eagle Horn, right? Is it Eagle Horn and Dota? I always get that.
Song.
So.
Eagle
Song. God damn it.
Oh, are they going to find him? Ooh, Padrino with the smoke. And it's not going to reveal him. Okay.
Into the pit they'll go. Padrino blinking down. Loda's still hiding in the tree line. He has that completed butterfly if he wants it. But damage isn't really his issue. It will help him a lot against the PA to survive, but the issue more for Loda is just when he fights. He's got to fight with the team. The whole team is coming. Streaming towards the pit. Rochlo. Now 8 Mother coming in. Oh, he whiffs the RP. He thought maybe they'd be a bit closer there, but unable to get fully enraged. 8 Mother now will end up going down. The A just picked up by the PA. Loda forced to fight without too much backup. Nice Mantis now to get out of Overgrowth. Loda's doing good damage, though. The rest of the supporting cast largely down at this point. Padrino needs a few more crits. Mystic Flare actually dodged by that timely Yule Scepter. And Padrino will end up surviving. Through it all, keeps the Aegis. Loda now forced back. Doesn't have his butterfly yet. Tough for him to fight any longer. What could have been a disastrous fight for BBC if that RP hits, ends up being not too bad for them.
They have an Abyssal on PA now, so they definitely have good enough lockdown for Anti-Mage.
Yeah, just comes down if they get the crit or not. If they do with the Abyssal, he's pretty much dead. But Loda does have his butterfly, and that's gonna slow down Padrino's damage.
Still, I mean, he can have MKB very soon. He has 2,900, can sell his Aquila, so we're only talking about like 2,000 gold until he gets his MKB up.
That's a fair point.
He's still gonna get wrecked. 1,600 HP with 24 armor, but still, like a crit would still do like a third of his HP. It's still pretty good damage.
It's where Loda would prefer to just not join the fights and only come when there's a great RP, but you can't count on 4 or 5 hero RPs.
Well, you can with 8 Mother.
That's true, but not if he's forced to blow them because his team's just out of position. Only so much one man can do.
I think he needs MKB, to be honest. He needs it versus the Brewmaster, that one fight mid where he got a split off during a BKB.
Yeah, and the PA
he really needed
evasion
physical
as well.
damage, and definitely versus the PA.
And on top of that, if he wants to take the direct engagements, he may need a basher of his own. RP and Lasso have been good for now, but you're now looking at a PA with Aegis, so you've got to basically blow all your spells to kill him once, then kill him a second time.
Well, ideally they can juggle their cooldowns. You use like Skywrath ult plus Root for, let's say, for one, and then like RP and or Lasso for the other, and that's an ideal situation. But generally, they just need as much burst as possible during those like 5 seconds of hard lockdown from Mag and Bat.
Yeah, Levy will try to make that difficult with the Yule Scepter he's picked up, and they also do have an Ancient Apparition Eggs, which means the Anti-Mage with all that Empower damage, with Living Armor to back him up, and of Vlad's, he won't be lifestealing in these fights if he gets blasted.
They have to back. They can't push this faster than the Empower Anti-Mage. Like, he's already at their base. There's no way they can trade this. Trade T2 and T3 and a Rax. They'll get 2 Rax by the time that happens.
And if they TP in, they've got to go like all the way to the tier 4s, which means Loda will get off some extra damage on these buildings, focusing the range Rex now. In a matter of 8 or 9 swipes, he will end up killing it off. No, that didn't actually finish it fully. 8 Mother blinks in, then skewers away. He's been caught by the Viper Strike 4-staff, double 4-staff, and a haste rune. Okay, that's your getaway vehicle, but Padrino is still in the hunt. And he may be able to kill off somebody here. He's got his Aegis ready to go, Misery Invis. He stops to hit creeps, lost vision of Ake as it is nighttime. And they did not end up breaking base. They did take down the tier 2 top lane, but...
Now it's the same thing. They want to push top before they can push bottom. Misery actually doesn't have a TP.
Yeah, he did lay down an Observer Ward here, doing whatever he can. with this downtime. But Loda will probably push faster here as well. There's no tier 2 top, and
They don't have a creep wave though. That's the issue.
yeah,
They don't have a tier 2 on bottom either.
it's a little bit. Let's see. Do they have? I think they have a glyph cooling down. Yeah, they'll have a glyph in 30.
They really don't want to fight. Not with the Aegis still up. It's only up for like a minute, but at the same time, if they don't fight this, they lose the racks. So they're in a terrible position right now. Probably should just trade the top, and then hopefully they can fight without the Aegis if BBC pushes for the T3 on top. But I don't know. This is a terrible position for.
They really need to get Misery back to base. Teleport scroll finally arrives. Man, that took a while for him to get it.
Oh, chicken! Oh, he almost
Chicken wars. If chickens could fight.
So 1 minute is the timer on the Aegis. That is what Alliance is hoping will run out before this fight brews, but I don't think BBC will allow that.
Yeah, Aegis timer still a decent amount left.
Look at Loda. He's trading.
He's trying to force the high ground. He's going to take down a range Rex here. The rotation comes in from Weehaw, but he doesn't have mana anymore. He's a BKB to prevent a potential... Oh, they're going to stop TPs. Impossible 8 Mother. He found 4 again. The gift that keeps on giving. Flame Break hits all of them. The Ancient Apparition ult futile. That's 3 dead. It's an Aegis down, and it's going to be 4 falling. Padrino trying to blink out, and now Manta's, but the Overgrowth's waiting for him. He'll get the crit. He will get the kill. Does he get more? That's it.
Jesus.
8 Mother saving this game for Alliance. I have not seen a stand-in carry a team this hard in a long, long time.
Well, it's also Loda, too. Loda with a smart decision. Immediately when they defend bottom, he just switches to top, and that decision starts here when he TPs to the T3 and pushes all the way down to faster than BBC can. So very smart for Loda to put BBC in that bad position. Yeah. And at this point, what do? Probably need BOTs on a hero. I don't think Brewmaster can be the one to TP back either. Firstly, he can't stop the anti-mage, and secondly, he's their most important team fight. So if they take a team fight without him, they're going to lose it.
Well, who does go back? I guess PA +1, but PA alone is going to lose all their mana, and Loda can still at least siege the buildings.
Viper's pretty strong, I'd say.
Lasso on Weehaw, and they're going in again mid lane. Can he get off his BKB in time? Pulled a little bit too far away from Loda, so Weehaw's able to BKB. He's able to engage here as they jump in, looking for a bit more. Everybody retreating out. RP was used. I didn't actually see what it hit. Solitude now being chased out by anti-mage illusions. On the high ground, they'll try to punish Levy. Meanwhile, Loda finding that pickoff with the Mana Void, and they still look for more. Levy graving himself. The Brew Split deployed. Boulder Toss. Only onto Akiskarth Mage as Loda blinks in. Looking for a bit more. Man, they need that PA very badly. Not using the buyback, but it's costing them basically the entire team. Support's dead again. PA only now reviving. And Brew not dead, but Split blown up.
No dispel.
Oh, he didn't actually RP. It looks like he canceled it. I heard the RP noise, but...
So now they can just ignore Brew. He doesn't have BKB. He doesn't have ult. Like, not a big deal for them. Now they can just focus all their efforts on Padrino.
And they'll push in. With this, bottom racks are also exposed. Alliance could suddenly claim Mega Creeps in need desperately of a win here in the Summit, too. They're 0-2 already. And they drop games to what many would consider the weaker teams. And Power Rangers and Compass, though, certainly capable of upsets. Teams that are unlikely to vie for the playoff spots. Alliance needing this win very badly. And it looks like they may have a shot to turn it around. They lead by 10k gold, 12k experience, but you can never count out the crits. And Padrino is about to in fact, he has the MKB if he wants to risk it. For now, saving for buyback. Bulldog blinking in, unable to get in range there. Will Yules to dodge that Viper Strike, drop down, back down to Earth, force staffing himself out. And now, taking a lot of damage just from the PA Dagger. Loda.
The biggest deal with BBC right now is they can't actually kill anyone or kill Loda when he's outside of the base, as opposed to Alliance. They have RP, they have Lasso, they have all of these spells that are just fantastic at killing people if they leave their base as less than 5. So now Alliance just move around as 5, and BBC are forced to react and can't push out any lanes.
Loda getting cold snapped here, and it will actually end up proccing. Meanwhile, they lasso, but that great defensive Yule Scepter binds sometimes. Padrino jumps in. He's caught by the Overgrowth. Now Mystic Flare pushed out of the Mystic Flare, but into trouble. He'll end up dropping. Will buy back immediately. Brew Split was used, but just doesn't offer you the same as that cleaving anti-mage at this stage. They'll kill off Misery. Not the best kill, though. They need something greater than this, and they'll search for it now with the Magnus of 8 Mother. Force stamping one direction, blinking out the other. Now the clap to chase him. Dagger to follow. Bulldog has a blink dagger, has a Yule Scepter, can't save his buddy. But it still forces out the ever so precious PA buyback. Also means no MKB for a little bit longer, as he won't be able to gain any unreliable gold.
This Roshan is not up. It could have been really bad if they take that fight and then Roshan's up, because that's the Aegis and Cheese. And Padrino can get his MKB too.
Yeah, there's still only 2 range Rex down here for BBC, but it's a matter of one fight before Lions could turn that into at least 2 full lanes, if not megas. And they're going in top lane. Onto Weehaw now with the lasso. Loda here to greet him. Will he get enough damage off for a Mana Void to secure the kill? Not going to happen as they dagger, and Padrino just one-shots your Batman.
Indeed, now he needs to sell
painful.
his flies for MKB, turn his treads into bots. They shouldn't really have trouble killing the brew. Not into like a lasso and almost 6-slot anti-mage with 30,000 net worth. And that's a little unfortunate that the Vlaz is hindering him.
They probably need, yeah. I mean, it would be nice to get someone else to pick up a Vlad just because of how hard he's hitting. But let's see, does anyone have gold for it right now?
It should be a tree, I'd say.
Scarth has gold, but well, maybe with a 4-staff Ghost Scepter he could get away with it. If not, then the tree most likely, who's very poor is the only issue. 200 gold on him right now.
Look at Loda too, scouting out the Roche. There's smoke. They wanted to do Roche, but Padrino saw the anti-mage illusion and didn't want to give away the position.
Alliance have him close, but BBC also, they've got a full lane of Rex down, so I'd say over 2 ranged versus a 1 melee 1 range. You've got to give them the edge in terms of creep equilibrium, but Loda makes up for that with his Battle Fury and power. He is moving in. Those anti-mage illusions, trying to slowly siege, focusing on melee Rex though. Probably should be directing them on... Oh, actually there are no range, so maybe just direct them on the towers instead if he can get this mid lane going in. But for now, clears out the wave. He's got his Demon Edge picked up. That will be a completed MKB and buyback at the ready. PA no buyback for 4.5 minutes. This is the timing, Ben. If you could just take the Aegis, maybe put it on one of your initiators.
If they get the Aegis now, it's over for BBC. They can't protect PA. Not at this point. She doesn't have buyback gold. She doesn't have buyback cooldown. So they absolutely have to fight this.
They will try for it, but there's a great Radiant Observer Ward here. Going to give them a whole lot of vision. If they move down this ramp and into this region, they'll be spotted out. Or if they head from the right, they smoke, and they will engage. Padrino looking for the jump in, but smoke revealed by Bulldog up on the high ground. Does he go for a lasso here? Doesn't have enough mobility to bring anyone that far back, so he'll retreat. But Alliance don't have to force this.
Yeah, they can just wait and split push with Loda. They know that they're not doing it because Loda's outside of the bit. But at the same time, BBC do have to defend their lanes at some point. And if PA reveals herself elsewhere, then they will immediately swoop in for the Roshan. And if they don't go in as 5, they'll just get picked off by Mag and Bat Riders. So BBC just has to play this very, very carefully and delicately.
And Loda's been very diligent. He sends an illusion back in. Weehaw thinks it might be real, or at least worried about not having his mana. Will BKB. And in fact, he might have had to do that just to preserve his mana pool. But it means now he could be Scarth Mage Silence to prevent it from ulting. Short of a grave. Alliance now moving back into the pit. They get the lasso off on Padrino. Brewmaster splits already. Roche dropping low. It does get picked up, yep, by the Brewmaster, but it really doesn't matter. PA's dead. No buyback, and that's probably it, Ben. Weehaw gonna die once. Weehaw will die again. It's all over here for BBC. Unfortunate. They made a great run. Just couldn't get it done in the end. They'll blink out on Weehaw, but they could just go high ground now. Alliance could be taking mega creeps off of this. 100 seconds with no PA.
Really nice play by Bulldog. They're getting vision in the pit and lassoing PA right before the Roshan dies. So even if they do kill the Roche like they did, they won't get the Aegis on her, which is the one that they've all been waiting for.
Yeah, Mansa style pop by Loda to dodge that cold feet proc. Nicely done. Ice Blast will come through, and they'll use a Dazzle ultimate to try and reduce his armor, but he really doesn't care about that. Blinks to the high or the northern racks, I should say. Takes the melees out here as well. Mega creeps inbound for Alliance. Still 60 seconds on the sidelines for the PA. MKB is now up. Loda, richer than God with 5k, still banked after essentially 6 slots. Could get his BOTs and still have buyback. 8 Mother looking for that skewer out. He'll be stopped by a Yule Scepter. Okay, with an E-Blade, trying to find a solo kill here on Solitude. Can't do it, but Loda is way too deep into the enemy base at this point. He's too fat. Megas are now up, and GG well played. They know it's checkmate. BBC, it was a good run from them. Had they just executed a bit better early, had 8 Mother not had such a spectacular Magnus game, this could have ended differently. But instead, Alliance finally notched their first win in the Summit 2. Now 1-2, BBC now 1-5.
Yeah, wow, 8 Mother Magnus. That was very, very impressive. Without that, they just straight lose. But Holy crap, his RPs.
If you're
this
gonna
game.
if you're gonna lose a player like S4, I'm feeling like 8 Mother might be a suitable replacement. My goodness. Yeah, not just his RPs, his skewers, the shockwave that he just targeted on the ground to snipe a hero earlier, the great defensive 4-step plays. Everything about his Magnus was on point. He had a little bit of help at level 1 from Ake, but aside from that, he pretty much just did it on his own.
Yeah, and stopping the TPs too. Like not. I mean, a lot of the Magnus just wait for the perfect 5-min RP, but that's not what he did. He goes in at exactly the right time, precisely.
Well, folks, with that will wrap up BBC versus Alliance. We're gonna switch over to the main Beyond the Summit stream here, and we'll be back momentarily. The Summit 2 by G2A.com continues after this. Coming up next, we are gonna have, I think it's Tinker versus PR, I want to say. Oh, no, sorry. Navi versus PR. Then Navi versus M5, and we round the day off with Tinker versus Alliance. He's Merlini. You can follow him at Merlini Dota. Myself, LD, at LD Dota. And, of course, be sure to stay tuned to Beyond the Summit. We'll be right back for your third match of the day.